Hey guys, so I lost a good friend of mine recently, and although this is not a video about grief, I do want to take this opportunity to leave a few notes, tips, or thoughts and advice for those of you who also may be grieving. My first pointer is practice presence. I know during this time we get a lot of overwhelming thoughts and feelings and emotions, and the best thing you can do is ground yourself into this present moment, because I know thoughts can be very overwhelming, so continue to practice patience and use what you're feeling to create. Use their memory, the way you're feeling, to create something beautiful that may help somebody else in the future. Let that life that person lived be an inspiration for you, and to do something more to honor their memory. Welcome back everyone to yinDyang. Today's video is about compassion, inspired by my late friend Franco Patino. Since COVID, since the pandemic, I've noticed that we honestly as a people have lacked a lot more compassion than we already did. Didn't know it was possible, but here we are. So I decided to make today's video about compassion. And the saddest part is that we need this compassion now more than ever. Because of the isolation, people have become more concerned about themselves. They're wondering, how can I protect myself from this? How can I defend myself from other people? Is what they're doing going to impact me and my health and my family? Or this is uncomfortable to me. I don't like how this feels. I'm concerned about my own comfort level, so I'm not going to do that because I'm not concerned about their comfort level in regards to following certain regulations. And then because of certain illnesses, we've lost loved ones, and it just hardens us even more. And the crazy thing is, that's the time we need even more compassion, but that lack of compassion that we get from others, it tends to harden us. Or even just that feeling of grief causes us to isolate ourselves even further from other people and the ones that we love. And then as conspiracies and other truths are revealed, we begin to distrust our country and the government that's been in place to support us and help us. We distrust them even more, and we feel like we can't rely on them to help us. When we are concerned in our own world and our own problems, we forget that there are other people around us, people that we actually care about, that may be going through something, that may be suffering, that may be hurt. And we forget to give that compassion to them, give that care, give that acknowledgement to them, because we're just so consumed in what we have going on. And then as we isolate and further distance ourselves, it keeps us from reaching out and helping others that really need us. So a small solution to fix ourselves so we can help, not fix ourselves, but help ourselves so we can help others, as I mentioned earlier, practicing presence. A lot of times we tend to focus on things that don't have any immediate solution, things we don't have control over, and constantly thinking about that is not helping us. It's not helping our case, and it's not helping our emotional state. So practice presence, some grounding techniques like using your 5 senses to ground yourself to the present moment. Count 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can hear, 3 things that you can feel, or even just like things touching you. It doesn't have to be like emotional feelings, but feel. 2 things that you can smell, and what do you taste? What does your tongue taste like? What do you feel on your palate? And those things should help ground you into the present moment. Or if that doesn't work, just breathe. Just inhale and exhale, and know that nothing you do is more important than that breath you're taking right then and there. Because if you don't breathe, you don't live. So just breathe and practice presence. And what's really great is about practicing presence is that you notice things going on around you, and you start to see other people. And the brilliance, I like to think, behind us suffering, if you will, is that we know what the signs of suffering are within ourselves. And by knowing that, we can use that to see it in others. We know what pain feels like, and we know what suffering looks like because we've seen it in ourselves just looking in the mirror through our difficult times. So use what you've learned to notice those things in other people who may be going through a difficult time. And you know what works for you when you were going through that healing process of grief or pain or frustration or suffering or depression. Use what you've learned to help other people going through that same exact thing. I know sometimes we go through really difficult times and we can't imagine or even fathom why we're going through these things. You know, everyone says, not everyone, but people say, I say, things happen for a reason. And we can't help but wonder, what reason is good enough for me to be feeling this way? What reason is good enough for that person to be suffering? Why? Just why? And we don't realize the why until much later on. So be patient with yourself if you are still suffering or going through a difficult time. But just know that what you're going through may be able to help somebody else in the future. If someone's been on your mind a lot lately and you're just like, why? I don't know why I've been thinking about them a lot lately. There's a reason for it. Reach out to them and don't make excuses for yourself. Don't go thinking, well, they never reach out to me. They never check in on me, so why would I do that for them? I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to annoy them. I don't want them to think I'm weird or... More often than not, a person is going to feel loved, thought about, and cared for if you are reaching out to them. Unless you're like that person who does it over excessively, like checking in on them every hour. You can tone it down a bit, but this is in context of you don't talk much and it's been a while since you've talked to them. Even if you guys had a falling out or you guys don't talk much anymore and they've really been on your mind, that's a sign that your soul calling for you to act, do something, say something. Just tell them, hey, you've been on my mind. You don't have expectations. Don't expect them to be like, oh my gosh, I miss you so much. That doesn't always happen. So don't have any expectations. Just go in expressing that you've been thinking about them and that they're thought of. Because I don't know about y'all, but I know when I get a message saying, hey, I'm thinking about you, I go, oh my gosh. So take that, that thought, those messages you're receiving, take them and use them, because just a week before my friend had passed, I was having thoughts of them and I was like, you know what? I haven't talked to him in a minute. I should call him. And I told myself that I would wait until I finished my exams. And then the day before they began, I found out he had passed. So if someone's on your mind, take this opportunity now to say something and reach out to them, because you don't want to be filled with regret or woulda, shoulda, couldas, or wondering what could have been, or just don't wait. Reach out. Have compassion. This world is lacking in so much compassion, and we're all in need of so much love. So please, today, be the reason that someone smiles, the reason someone doesn't feel alone, the reason someone feels acknowledged, the reason someone feels at home. Be the change. I don't think you all realize the power you have, and not just your ability to make a difference, but also the power even just behind your mere presence. A lot of people don't realize that. They think they have to do something to make a difference. Sometimes you being present with somebody, or you just being yourself and just being on your grind, makes a difference. You not only inspire other people, but sometimes your presence with somebody else just makes them not feel alone. So be the change we need to see in this world, y'all. Let's have compassion. Yes, please. But of course, it starts with you. Know your worth and the value that you have within yourself, so that you can begin to see it in others. Well, you guys, thank you so much for staying tuned. And now, before you guys disappear and exit out, I have a quote for you. This is by Eckhart Tolle. Is suffering really necessary? Yes and no. If you had not suffered as you have, there would be no depth to you as a human being, no humility, no compassion. You would not be reading this right now. Suffering cracks open the shell of ego, and then comes a point when it has served its purpose. Suffering is necessary until you realize it is unnecessary. And now that's all I have for you guys. Thank you for staying tuned. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Comment any other advice you guys may have for anybody who's suffering or going through grief. And make sure you click that notification bell button so that when you do subscribe, you get notifications of when new videos are posted. They're posted every Saturday by noon. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow the Instagram page for the channel, y.indya.ng, for more and for, once again, updates for when new videos are posted. Now that's it. Okay, guys, until next week, let's go live life.